Love technology.
Okay, you tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Wait, it's not live yet.
So type 2 diabetes.
Good morning. Here we go. Type 2 diabetes in layman's terms.
You're still a good person, but this is because of your lifestyle. Does that make sense? When we're talking about lifestyle, we're talking about, I'm going to say your activity level. I'm going to say your activity level and your food choices. Simple. Okay? Because of your lifestyle, of your activity level and your food choices, your body, I'm just going to say this, you have become, write this down, insulin resistant. You become insulin resistant. Meaning, your body doesn't respond. That's why you have to inject it.
Right.
Think about an alcoholic. Think about somebody who's on crack. Think about think about if you spray perfume. 10 minutes, you don't even smell it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Your senses have stopped responding to it. So for like an alcoholic, a severe dependent alcoholic, they need more and more to get drunk. Or maybe even worse, maybe even to operate normally. So with any drug. Your body has stopped responding to insulin, so you need to inject more. Super, super easy. We can solve this super, super easy. Super easy. We go to the source. We just reverse engineer and go back to the root of the problem. Okay? Hope that's still recording. So, this is the problem. You ready? Eat high glycemic carbohydrates. So carbs get a bad rap. Carbohydrate. Carbs get a bad rap. Carbs are not evil. I'm going to say eat high glycemic carbohydrates or even eat excessive. I'll say more than you need. Just say more than you need. Excessive high glycemic carbohydrates. This leads to blood sugar spike. Your blood sugar spikes. Follow me so far?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Blood sugar. If it gets too high, it becomes toxic, and you die. Sad face. When your blood sugar gets too high, it becomes toxic, and you die. Your body says, hey, I don't want to die. So to combat this, your pancreas produces
Insulin.
Your pancreas, your organ, produces insulin to regulate your blood sugar, so you don't die. This is it. Eat more than you need high glycemic carbohydrates. Causes your blood sugar to spike. When it gets too high, it becomes toxic and you die, sad face. Your body, to combat this, your pancreas produces insulin to regulate your blood sugar, and it's going to bring it back down to regulate to blood sugar to normal levels. Okay? If you chronically keep doing this, just like if you chronically drank alcohol, if you chronically did crack cocaine, if you chronically sprayed perfume, if you eventually, your body becomes resistant. Super simple. What has happened, still a good person, but what has happened is you've just repeated this over time, and now your body has become resistant to insulin.
Right.
So now it's not producing enough, so you have to androgynously, is that a fancy word? External? You have to bring more into your body.
Right.
The shot. Or when it's super bad, they get the pump.
Yeah.
You've seen that?
Oh, I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah. You've got this thing, it's like in your body. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's gnarly. Hook the cord up, it's crazy. That's all that's happened. Because of your lifestyle, your activity, and your food choices, you've eaten too many high glycemic carbohydrates that have chronically spiked your blood sugar, which chronically have been releasing insulin all the time because you don't want to die.
Right.
And just you keep doing this over time, you've now become insulin resistant. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so now your body needs more and more insulin. Since it's resistant, it needs more and more insulin so that this doesn't happen.
Right.
That's all this is. So how do we solve this?
Diet and exercise?
Well, yeah. Be more specific. How do we solve it? Just go back to the root cause. Cut
down on carbs.
We stop eating excessive high glycemic carbs.
And
I didn't say stop eating carbs. I said stop eating excessive high glycemic carbohydrates. If we do that, if we never spike our blood sugar, there is no need for insulin.
Right.
There's no need for it. If we never elevate it, there's no need for it. So this is kind of what keto is trying to do. Ketosis, the keto diet, they want you to have 25 grams a day of carbohydrates. That's nothing. What they're trying to do is to prevent this. Okay? That's a whole nother lecture. But basically what they're really, really trying to do is prevent this from happening. This formula. Okay? This is, I'd go crazy. Anyways, that's a whole nother lecture. But you know what I'm saying? So we just got to go back to the root cause of, if we don't ever spike our blood sugar, we don't need insulin. And if we ever need it, then we're not going to become resistant. Think about it somebody who never drank before. Think about somebody who never drank or drank maybe once a year, right? You give them a couple glasses of wine at dinner, and they're very easy. They have a low tolerance, right? They're having a good time because that never happens. It's on occasion, once a year, twice a year maybe, right? So a couple glasses of wine at dinner, they're looped. They're feeling good. Their body, it's not used to it. Now, reverse that. Let's say you drank 4 glasses of wine every single night. You build up a tolerance.
Right.
You build up a resistance to the alcohol. You've built up a resistance to insulin because you chronically had to have it. The reason why you've had to have it is because you chronically spiked your blood sugar by eating high glycemic carbohydrates.
True.
That's type 2 diabetes. That's it. How do we solve it? Go back to the root. If we never do this, this will never happen.
Okay.
That's it. So let's talk about high glycemic carbohydrates. Okay? I'm going to go from super, super low to high.
Okay.
All diets, Mediterranean, Nutrisystem, Jenny Craig, Zone, Flexible Eating, Paleo, whatever name you give food, it's going to fall on 3 different categories. It's going to fall on a low glycemic, a moderate glycemic, I'll say 4, a high glycemic, or an extremely high glycemic index. Whatever it is, South Beach, Mediterranean diet, whatever. That makes sense so far? It's going to fall somewhere on this level. Let's just go to carbohydrates. Let's identify what's a carb. Make this simple. What's a carb? Okay? Plants, i.e. fruit and vegetables. People are like, what? Fruit and vegetables are carbs? Yep, fruits and vegetables are carbohydrates. Okay? Grains. Bread. These are the ones everybody knows. Bread, pasta, rice, cereal. What else are the carbohydrates? The candies. I'm just going to put candy and sweets. The candies, sweets, pop,
Beer.
right? So alcohol. I had a conversation with the client just yesterday. so confused on what macronutrient alcohol was. Juices. We're going to say anything that's not an animal, or a plant, seed, nut, or oil. If it's not an animal, plant, seed, nut, or oil, it's a carbohydrate. And again, carbs get a bad rap. Okay? Carbs get a bad rap. Carbs aren't evil. Excessive amounts of high glycemic carbohydrates are evil. Follow me so far?
Yep.
Now we're going to go on the level. So what carbs are going to be low glycemic? I'm going to tell you. Okay. So I'm going to say the safer ones and then the dangerous ones. Okay. Veggies, fruit. And we're just going to start working this way. Veggies. So what's the same as it? Vegetables, fruits, grains, sweets. We're going to work this way. This is going to be low to moderate, and then moderate to high. You are not going to overeat vegetables. Now you go to Texas Roadhouse and you have 2 baskets of rolls, right?
Yeah.
Right? Let's fill that same basket up with broccoli. You ain't going to overeat that.
Okay.
Or green, whatever, right?
Yeah.
You ain't going to overeat that.
No.
Number one, refined carbohydrates won't fill you up. That's why we can go through 2 baskets of rolls and 2 baskets of chips.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
And slurp down a 44 Dr. Pepper. Refined carbohydrates won't fill you up.
Okay.
We can talk about leptin and things like that. That's a whole nother thing. I'm just going to make this super simple, okay? But these are what's going to be low to moderate, moderate to high. This stuff, what your mama taught you, eat your veggies, she was right. What we see is people don't eat enough vegetables. So we're going to really keep this super simple, okay? Eat real food. This is going to be your best bet. Eat real food. Mostly, and say only, we're not vegetarians. Mostly plants. Not too much. Actually, switch this up. Eat real food, not too much, mostly plants.
Okay.
Not only plants. We're not herbivores. We eat meat too as well. This is going to be your safest bet. Now, with what we teach with flexible eating, yeah, you can have bread. Yeah, you can have cereal, rice, chips, sweet. You can have all that stuff. We gotta figure out what's the appropriate amount. This is not about restriction.
Right.
This is not about restriction. It's about precision. It's not about restriction. It's about precision. When we know the exact amounts, we can make it fit. But this is all that's happened. You've become type 2 diabetic because you've become insulin resistant. Your body is not responding anymore to the insulin that your pancreas is producing. So you have to inject it.
Okay.
You need more of it.
Right.
If we just go back to the root problem, if we don't spike our blood sugar by eating excessive glycemic carbohydrates, blood sugar won't spike, there's no need for insulin. Let's say we repeat that over a year. I'm not a doctor. 12 months, 18 months, you'll be cured. I'm not a doctor.
Woo!
I'm not a doctor.
It's curable.
I'm not a doctor, but type 2 diabetes is curable.
Right.
Type 1 is treatable. Type 2 is curable. Type 2 is what grandma has because of her lifestyle and food choices.
Yeah.
But that's all this is. I don't know if your doctors explained it as deep as this, and this is very, very simple. If we quit spiking our blood sugar by eating high glycemic carbohydrates, now these aren't evil, they have a lot of sugar.
Right.
Glycemic is glucose, sugar. They have more sugar than these.
Right.
So if we eat more of this and less of this, we'll control this more.
Okay.
We repeat that over time. We'll respond more to insulin. We won't eat as much. Now, on the contrary, you don't want your blood sugar getting too low. That's when you crash.
Yeah.
So we want, this is why it's green bubbles. We want precise amounts.
Okay.
So we're not saying don't eat carbs. We're saying find the right amount.
Okay.
We're giving you a ballpark to work with. Find the right amount. Enough to support your activity level, but not body fat.
Okay.
Simple.
But split mine up, right? Yeah.
We can go into that.
Oh, okay.
We can go into that as
Okay.
well too. Okay? So that's your type 2 lecture.
Okay.
Cool?